we are less than 2 months out from MOAA's first annual Total Force Plus conference. And here to tell us why the National Military Family Association is participating is Besa Pinchotti. Besa, thanks for talking to us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I am super excited about the conference for all kinds of reasons, mostly because it's not just us talking. So the fact that you and I are sitting here having this conversation about why we care about military families and humans, that's just standard business for you and me. But the fact that you all are bringing in all of the outside interested parties, whether it's businesses or educational institutions, DoD, like all of it, that's why I'm excited.
We're trying to go cradle to grave.
Yes.
Like from when you first step on those footprints, or even if you're a military child, what are the things that are impacting you? So you've been to a lot of other conferences, obviously, in your current role. What do you think is going to be the difference between those and the Total Force Plus?
Well, I think that a lot of the conferences that have to do with our military are very equipment focused and, airplanes and all of the things that are super important in the military, but they're missing kind of that biggest, most important thing, which is the humans and particularly the families. And so the fact that the whole focus is that is what I think is so important. And you mentioned cradle to grave. I even think about it more like a circle, because the kids are then the ones who join the military or marry into the military, then they're having more military kids, and we all know the most likely people to serve are those military kids. So it's that cycle, and the more that we can do to improve those lives from the very beginning will improve the entire cycle.
Definitely. So as a military spouse, you're familiar with, sometimes we get into our own little circles or cycles of complaining, which doesn't really move the needle or advance any solutions. And military spouses have amazing ideas. So this, I think, is a great opportunity to come and share some of the solutions to these issues that you and I have been working on for over a decade.
Yeah, 100%. I think for a while, I've been in this business for a while, as have you. And when I first started working for military families, it would be a lot of conversations where it would say, our military and their families. It was kind of like pause and then, and the words were there, but the intent wasn't. So that's what I think is so different about this, and why I really admire what you all are doing and why we definitely want to be a part of it, is because it's not the and, it is the focus.
Absolutely. And I think that DoD has definitely acknowledged that families are important. We've got great leadership over there at the Military Community and Family Policy team, and people that are really working to make it a full experience for the family. But sometimes what we miss is the people that are actually wearing the shoes and walking those footsteps from being part of that conversation.
Yeah, and it's even because all the questions are asked of the service member most of the time. And the service member knows what they're hearing, but they're not even there most of the time. It's the military spouse holding it down with the kids while that service member has such an important job to do. But we're the ones living the life. We're the ones who move to the new community and have to get our kids into the new schools and find the new doctor and find the new emergency contact and call our parents who are time zones away. So we're the ones living the life. And so hearing it secondhand is never going to be as effective. And it's so critical that spouses are in the room. And again, that is why we will absolutely be there.
Excellent. And I think it's also having those spouses in the room gives them just some buy-in. They may not take your suggestion. DoD has a lot of conflicting priorities. There's a finite amount of money to tackle these issues. But if you're not there and you can't share, you don't even share your ideas, they're not going to know what you want. And an example that comes to mind is Sarah Jacobs is a congresswoman out in California, and she was talking about the housing. Actually, you were there for it was during that quality of life panel. And she'd mentioned that young families might be interested in condo styles. Now that would never appeal to me, but it absolutely appeals to probably a broad number of military families. But no one's there to tell her, yes, that would be what we would like.
Yeah, we're really intentional at NMFA about this too. In fact, we recently changed our mission statement to talk about working with families to solve the unique challenges of military life. And I see you all doing the very same thing. We can't tell families what they want. Right. They need to tell DoD. They need to tell us. They need to make sure that their voices are heard. And so that's just so important that it's being done so intentionally. And to your point, it has to be heard to be listened to. Absolutely. And so it's so critical that military spouses in particular use their voices in that way. And so many of us have similar experiences and even similar ideas, because that's what we do. We hang out and we talk about it should be like this and why can't it be like that. And if we can sing in chorus, and make sure that that's heard, I think that's what's going to make the difference.
And steel sharpens steel. So you bring all of those great minds together, and we're going to get a good product.
Yeah, absolutely.
To make sure that your voice is part of this conversation, register today for the TotalForce Plus Conference. It's happening on October 28th and 29th at the Gaylord over at National Harbor. And remember, registration is free for currently serving.